Now, I've told you part 2 in what looks like to be about a 3, maybe 4-part series on the Cleveland Srixon review of their product line. Welcome back to the mcgolfshop. Jim McCleary, most award certified club maker, club fitter. We talk about club reviews, club repairs, club fittings. And if you would, like, subscribe, swing and hit the bell. That way you get more of these videos when they drop. Because, basically it's new to me, so I'm going to let you know about it as well. Now, the first one we talked about, the iron line only. The iron line only on the Clevelands. We covered the wedges, the irons, and up into the driving irons. Now we're going to talk about Srixon. All right, now Srixon I'm actually kind of familiar with, and what's happened is they've got their design game on. Srixon has always been a forged product. When you're talking about forged, everybody's like, oh, forged, man, that's for a player. Well, it was in the day because the only thing that a forged club could be was a blade. Now they're big cavities, they got pockets. They got little extra materials in them, making things easier to hit, all kinds of stuff. And Srixon, along with a handful of others, really did well in this category without going over the top in price. Apparently, Srixon caught on. and now it's a force to be reckoned with in the forged category, all right? And we're going to go over at least 4 of the products, all right? 4 of the products. We're going to work on the way, this one, instead of going down to up, we're going to go up to down. All right, first and foremost, they have the U85. All right, they have the U85. And look at that. The shiny, it's just like, I feel like a raccoon because it's just shiny. All right, this is the U85. This is the driving iron. All right, this is a 2 degree, and you notice how wide the sole is. All right, and it has what I would call a medium low, if not low, a low offset. And again, it's forged, right? And it's hollow body, right? Mm-hmm. A hollow body forged. Now that's new. A hollow body forged, and it is sporting the recoil 95 gram shaft. As you guys know, I'm a big recoil fan when it comes into this kind of stuff. It's really quite the performer. Again, keep in mind, this is all forged stuff. One I'm not going to be able to test, but I certainly wanted you guys to see, is the blade. Right? Blades are completely sexy, but unfortunately about 1% of the universe can hit this. And if you look, it's got a very nice capable sole. It's got the V sole, and it's got the thin, what you would call the front leading edge, but the whole sole itself is very easy to look at. It's smaller in appearance because it is a bit smaller head, and if you look, it's got a very thin top line, which blades should have, right? Very much the players, almost, let's check it out, very little to almost no offset. All right, very little to almost offset. It looks like it's going to come standard. It's going to come standard with the Modus 120. And that jives, right? The Modus 120 is a standard weight shaft for the guy that's generating the swing speed, very stronger golfer. The Modus, I've been working with these guys this year for some reason, and although the Modus is a very good club, it actually hits the ball a tad higher. It hits the ball a tad higher in that, instead of getting those boring trajectories, you actually get a little flight, and that's what helps make these guys just a tad more forgiving. So there you have the blade. And so now what we're really getting to the meat and potatoes of the Srixon line are the Z series, the Z785 and the Z585. Now, as I've just been schooled, the bigger the number, the more player-like it becomes. So here is the 585. You notice how it's got the pocket cavity, where the other one is more of a traditional cavity back. All right, so we're going to go to the 585, and you'll notice that it's got the V sole yet again, a little wider, right? A little wider. And again, for what we'd call the average better player, and it's, everybody sees this and freaks out. Well, this is really where you're hitting most of your shots. This is just to help you not get stuck, all right? That's the long and the short of it. It's got the pocket cavity, all right? And pocket cavities are used to draw down CG and pull them back, all right? And you draw them down and pull them back, again, same thing. You can make the loft stronger and still get the same kind of flight characteristics. Again, a forged club. And this comes with a Modus 105, right? Modus 105, which I think would be an outstanding combination. Like I said, the 105-95 is just the sweet spot for a lot of these, for a lot of clubs, a lot of golfers. 785. 785 for the above average, you know, it's slated for the above average golfer. Again, with the V sole again, a little smaller leading edge, all right, a smaller sole altogether. And if you look, it's just what we would call a player's cavity. You see all that weight down in here. They've got the traditional swing in the middle, and then they got this here, and it's a little wider, again, pulling the center of gravity down. This is a one-piece forged club, right? This one-piece forged club. So this one's going to feel a little different than the 585. The 585 is going to feel a little softer, and again, it's probably a little bit bigger, where this one is what I would call mid-size, right? It's not grossly big, it's not forged small, but a good, you know, for the guy that's a good ball striker. And this also comes with, now this one's coming with the Modus 120 in it as well. I'd probably go either way with the 105 or the 120 in this guy. And I think more 105s than 120s based on my experience here. However, we're going to find that out. Srixon. There's part 2. That we're going to go test all this stuff and we're going to go see. Well, we only have a driver, right?
Yeah, driver. I can get fairway wood and hybrid out of there too.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go test, and like anything else in our fittings, like anything else in our reviews, you know, we tell you about what the manufacturer says, then we take a look at the specs, and we've already measured them to compare them what they were. And then we do some hitting to do some trials, and then we tell you about who these would really fit to, whether it matches up with what we know or do not know. So let's go hit some balls. This is part 2 of the 4-part series of the Srixon Cleveland product reviews. This one is the Srixon Iron part 2. And so to get this one right out of the way is one I couldn't hit, but I gotta give, you know, this is the fitting part of it. Who would I recommend this for? For the ultimate player, certainly the blade. All right, as you can see that you have the V-sole technology, a thinner top line. It's a beautiful looking club. Blade's always been like that. And with the Modus club, or the Modus shaft, it's gonna go a little bit higher than, say, a dynamic gold. All right, and that's just because of the make of the shaft. The Srixon products are all forged, right? They're all forged. Now, being a blade, I would imagine it's a one-piece because why not, right? And they only come in right-handed, hence the reason why I didn't test it. And it might have been funny to watch me hit anyway. It's a good-looking club. I don't think it's one that's going to get stuck if you're a monster digger or a monster divot taker. This might actually be a good club for you. All right, moving on. The Z585. The Z585. It is a forged club, pocket cavity, V-sole with a medium-low offset. It's really quite, I guess this would be kind of a player's distance category is what you would look at. I'm looking over at Tim so he can tell me. My golf spy tend to like this one quite a bit, and I could see why. Right, I got into this club very first couple of shots, man, and they were soft and they were long. All right, these are definitely not players' lofts. They are distance lofted clubs. All right, it came with the Modus 105, which again is one of my favorite lofts. I think everybody should have something along that lines, unless you're like massive aggressive. And the V-sole helps you not get stuck, right? I'm really digging the V-sole. It had a very, very soft feel, and as it should, being a forged and cavity and pocket design. And it did very, very well. Again, then we go to the 765, which is the standard. It's a one-piece forged. It is what I would call a player's cavity, and it has a comparable loft as well, probably for the better ball striker, a low to very low, I'd say a low offset on it, and it's got a really good look. You can stand over top of it. It's got that like a thin to medium top line on it. Very players-like, but it has the forgiveness in that cavity. It's not necessarily a super deep cavity like the 585, but you can still get around on it. And turns out I hit that one pretty good too. All right, then last but not least is the 2 driving iron. The 2 driving iron. This thing to me just looks so cool, right? And again, this is in the player. Now keep in mind, the Srixon line is made for that middle to better player. That's what they tout, middle better player. This is a low medium offsetted driving iron, 18 degree, again sporting the recoil 95. Now I wanted to hit this thing so well. I wanted to hit it so well, and just couldn't. And it's not the club's fault by any shape of the imagination. I am more of a hybrid guy, and when I see this thing, it just looks completely flat to me, and it causes me to come off plane. Now that's all that is, an excuse. I am the club maker, club fitter. I'm not the PGA guy, so there you go. So where do these things fall in line? Now the 585 in reality could fit a truckload of people. It's got enough offset, enough sole, enough loft that it could fit a very wide range of people. Now you could even combo set these things. I could foresee hitting the 585 and maybe the 4, 5, and 6, and then going into the 7 down through the gap wedge in the 785 easily. That would be a very comparable set, specifically for a guy that shoots maybe 85, right? You can do that because, at that particular point, you're putting a premium on shot making, right? So at the top end, you could hit those things and just hit them all day long, and at the bottom end, you're throwing darts into pins, and that could help you out just like that. But the 585 is a good club. It could fit a truckload of people, even the better player that's looking for just that slight amount of help. There you are. 785, slightly better player, one that puts a premium on shot making, right? When you get up to about the 5 iron, you're probably going to a different stick. It could be the driving iron here or a hybrid of some sort. And that could be that as well, right? It's not so harsh player forgiving that even an average guy may be able to fit into it. And again, it comes down to the fitting. And as we were finding out, the weight of that shaft, right? They got 125s, 105s, 95s. Once you get that, it becomes much easier to hit a lot of these irons. But again, I would say wider range, smaller range of the better player is where the 585, 575. And then if you're just not the hybrid guy, then check out the driving cavities. And that would be the Srixons. Now, from what I've seen out there on the internet, that's probably, I'm telling you, no different. But I do like the fact that they're all forged. I do like the quality of the work. So we went to the shop, and I measured my clubs. And when I measured the clubs, we have what do they say, what do they find, right? What do they say, what do they find? Well, I'm not going to give you all the specs because there's like 4 different clubs. However, I will tell you that in the Srixon lineup, we were looking at it, and everything was basically with what I would call within a parameter, okay? There's plus or minus 1s on degrees of lofts. There's plus or minus half degrees, and if the company is truly worth its salt, the numbers will be very, very close, very, very dead on in that kind of setup. And they were, right? They were. The lie angles were off by half a degree. The loft angles were, I think, dead on for the most part, except for the driving iron. The driving iron was actually weak, and so we made it up we bent it to the right spec, which is really kind of funny. So if you guys are out there hitting it really, really well, you're going to hit it better. And so it was right where it needed to be. Now with the shafts that were in there, because the Modus is a slightly soft shaft, that they were right in the parameters where I would say stiff and regulars were. So all in all, it was a really good setup. If you're looking for a forged iron and you're not looking to spend just a truckload of money, but you want to get a high quality product, you might want to check out the Srixon line. And you know, they're going to be the same this year because they're in a 2-year cycle. So you're going to see these guys not changing until next year. So give them a look. And as always, let's see your scores go low.